This is part 2 of the lecture from Mrs. Roth's English 1 class at the Lancaster Learning Link. This is the material that would be covered on week 21. This week, you're going to be writing a paragraph. Turn in your grammar book to page 78, and you'll see that this is a unit on the paragraph. This week, you're going to be reading this information about introducing a paragraph, doing an exercise, and then over the next several weeks, we're going to be writing a variety of different kinds of paragraphs. If you look at the middle of page 79 under paragraph development, it says, to develop a paragraph, write sentences with details that support the idea of the topic sentence. The following are 3 ways to develop paragraphs. 1 is giving examples, 2 is telling incidents, and 3 is giving reasons. This week, you're going to write a paragraph using this first method to develop it, and that method is the method of giving examples. So this week, you're going to write a paragraph using examples. Now, here are 4 different topics that you can choose from. You only have to write 1 paragraph on one of these topics, so you choose which one you like. If, for example, you chose number 2, some animals seem to be very intelligent. Well, you would begin your paragraph with that topic sentence, and you're going to learn about topic sentences and summarizing sentences when you do the reading on page 78. But when you, after stating that topic sentence in your paragraph, then you would proceed to give examples of animals that seem to be very intelligent. So that's the key here, is that you're going to be developing your paragraph by giving examples. And I would say you probably need to give at least 3, maybe 4 examples in your paragraph. So you'll be writing that, and I give you instructions on proofreading that and having a parent proofread and all that kind of stuff, and then you'll be turning that in next Monday, both the first and second draft of that. Okay, let's move on now to our grammar lesson. Turn to page 171 in your book. We're learning about pronouns, and let's first review what we did last week. Last week we looked at chart 15, which lists the different types of pronouns. We spent a lot of time looking at indefinite pronouns, which point out an indefinite person or thing and don't usually have an antecedent. What causes problems with these indefinite pronouns is that some of them are always singular and need a singular verb. Some of them are always plural and need a plural verb. And some of them, the 5, some, any, none, all, and most, can be either way and sometimes take a singular verb and sometimes take a plural verb. So hopefully you got that all worked out last week and understand that. So what we were talking about last week were pronoun types, like personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns. Those are different types of pronouns. And I'm emphasizing that because today we're going to look at something different. Today we're going to look at pronoun cases. The case of a pronoun tells how it's related to the other words that are used with it. Now we'll explain that a little more here in a minute. Now remember, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. So what a noun can do, a pronoun can do. So just like we had the noun flower, we could also have the pronoun flower. And all of those things that a noun could do, a pronoun could do. Well, I guess there is one exception. A pronoun can't be a noun of direct address. That has to be a noun. But all these other things can be pronouns, since pronouns simply take the place of a noun. Now, while there were several pronoun types, there's only 3 pronoun cases. And these cases are actually used a lot when you study a foreign language, because you're going to have to learn all the different pronouns for these different cases in these different languages like Spanish or French or whatever foreign language you might learn. So it's important that you understand these pronoun cases. There are three: the nominative case, the objective case, and the possessive case. Now, here's a chart that I gave you that shows you these different pronoun cases. Now, I understand there's a lot of information here, and we're going to kind of cover it slowly and look at each part of it. Notice up at the top in the orange, we have the nominative case, the objective case, and the possessive case. Those are our three pronoun cases. Now, if we go down a little bit farther to the next orange rectangle down there, notice that in the nominative case, you can have both singular pronouns and plural pronouns. In the objective case, we have both singular and plural pronouns. And in the possessive case, we have both singular and plural pronouns. Now, in addition to that, if you look over in the left-hand column, all the way to the left, I've drawn an orange box around first person, second person, and third person. Now, hopefully you've heard this before, but the idea is pretty simple. The first person singular pronoun for the nominative case is I. That first person just means that's the pronoun that you use when that is the person speaking. You use the second person pronouns when it's the person spoken to. And then you use the third person pronouns when it's the person that you're speaking about. So let's start this by looking at the nominative case. So in this slide, I've taken just the little bit off of that chart that was for the nominative case, and I've placed it here. So we see both the singular and plural pronouns for the first, second, and third person. We also have at the bottom there that who and whoever, and we'll talk about that next week. What you need to know is that the nominative case pronouns are used for two simple things. They're used for subjects, and they're used for predicate nominatives. There's that word showing up again. And then I guess I should have said that there are three, because actually they can be used for appositives too, but only for the appositives to the subject and the appositives to the predicate nominative. So on our pronoun flower, subjects and predicate nominatives were two of the things on there, but you would use the nominative case pronouns if you're using them as a subject or predicate nominative. Now, if you can't remember which ones are nominative case, kind of the test sentence is to put it in as a subject. Blank went to the store. So I went to the store, you went to the store, they went to the store, we went to the store, she went to the store. If it fits into that sentence, blank went to the store, then it is a nominative case pronoun. Now you'll notice down there in the bottom it says a pronoun appositive must be in the same case as the noun to which it refers. So we're going to be seeing here that if we have a pronoun appositive that's referring to a noun that is a subject, then our pronoun appositive will have to be in the nominative case, because the noun is a subject and therefore the appositive will have to be as the same as the noun. So we'll look at that here in just a minute. So let's look at an example here. Now, unfortunately, my PowerPoint doesn't work quite the same when I'm making a video, so I'm sort of showing you the example and giving you the answer all in the same slide. You'll just have to kind of bear with me on this. So let's start by looking up at the top at sentence number 1. Here's a sentence. He and I are on the track team. Now you might say, that doesn't sound quite right. But let's see that yes, indeed it is. In order to test these pronouns, he and I, when we have them combined with a conjunction like and or, the best way to figure this out is to do them one at a time, handle them one at a time. So in sentence number 2, I say he, well, you wouldn't say he are on the track team, so we have to change our verb, and that's fine. But you would say he is on the track team. You wouldn't say him is on the track team. Then I try my other one, and I want to see, is I correct or is it me? Well, you wouldn't say me am on the track team. You say, I am on the track team. So both he and I sound right when you do them one at a time, and therefore they're going to be right when you put them together, which we have in sentence number 4, and that is correct. You would say, he and I are on the track team. Notice that both of those are the subjects in this sentence, and therefore we have to use the nominative case. And if you look on your chart, you'll see that the nominative case includes he and I. It's not him and me. Those are in the objective case, but since these are the subject, we have to use the pronouns that are in the nominative case because it's the subject. Okay, let's look at the next example. Here's our sentence. Beth and her worked on the staff, or Beth and she worked on the staff. Well, when we have two words here, one's a noun, one's a pronoun, the best way to figure it out is to say them individually. Well, we know it would be Beth worked on the staff, so all we have to figure out is would it be her or she? If you look at number 2, where I've blacked out or grayed out the Beth and, then you can ask the question, is it her worked on the staff or she worked on the staff? Well, now we know that that sounds right, that it's she worked on the staff. So we see in sentence number 3 that the correct answer is Beth and she worked on the staff. Again, she is the subject of the sentence. A subject pronoun has to be in the nominative case. If you look on the chart, you'll see that she is in the nominative case. Her is not in the nominative case. Since it's the subject, we have to use the nominative case, and she is the one that we have to use. Let's look at another example here. We have the sentence, us or we, leaders, have a plan. Well, this time we have the word leaders, which is an appositive to the subject. And so it works best when we have an appositive after our pronoun to just delete that momentarily. So when we get to sentence number 2, we say, do we say us have a plan or we have a plan? Well, obviously the answer is we. So when we look at number 3, the correct way to say this would be we leaders have a plan. Again, we is the subject of the sentence, therefore it has to be in the nominative case, and we is the nominative case pronoun we use here. Okay, one more example. My friends, Doug and he or him, are here. Now this time, our pronoun is the appositive. In the last example, the pronoun was the subject and we had another appositive. But this time, the pronoun is the appositive. But what's important is Doug and he or him is the appositive to the subject. And when we have an appositive to the subject, we have to make it match the subject. So we have to use the nominative case again. So in sentence number 2, I've circled the correct answer, and that would be, my friends, Doug and he, are here. Now I know that doesn't sound real good, but that's because we just misuse this all the time. But because this is an appositive to the subject, we have to use the nominative case pronoun he. Okay, now it's time for you to try to get some practice with this. So I'd like you to do the first 4 sentences on the in-class practice sheet. Go ahead and pause the video at this point, circle your answers, and then start it up again when you're ready to see the answers. Here are the answers for those first 4 sentences. He and I will be in the library. John and he decorated the gymnasium. We Christians should do right. Mr. Hewitt's mechanics, Kevin and he, have many years of experience.